Good to beloved of God. It's another beautiful week that God has blessed us with. I thank you for making time and joining me this week and today. I'm so grateful and I appreciate all your time you spend with me. If you are new on this channel, kindly subscribe, hit the post notification and get notified anytime we upload a new video.
We're going to protect Christianity, and I can say that. I don't have to be politically correct, or we're going to protect it.
So last week we looked at the testimony of that lady who was with the US Senate giving her ordeal, testifying to the Senate about her ordeal of what she had been taken through by some medical professionals, deceiving her and making her go through the transition procedure and transitioning her from a female to becoming a male. And I promised you that I was going to bring the part 2 to you this week. So without wasting much of your time, let's go and have the second part of her story, and we are going to come back and we are going to discuss this.
And while the damage done to my body can never be fully reversed, I can be an advocate for those girls in the same position I was. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Committee members, any questions? Senator Campbell, do you have questions?
Thank you. Prisha, thank you so much. You flew down from where?
Michigan.
So members and people watching, Prisha came from Michigan to try to take what has happened to her and help others. She has been abandoned. You can bet everybody was on board to help when she was transitioning. And somebody can speak to the cost. Can you speak to the cost of the dollars that you think insurance put out for all the transitioning?
Insurance paid for the testosterone and all of the blood tests and all of the appointments. It had to be thousands.
Thousands. And today, you were how old, if you don't mind me asking, 26?
25.
25. And you do have insurance? Or you not?
Yes, and they will cover nothing.
So while insurance paid thousands upon thousands, and just in 2021, just the surgery alone cost, just the surgery market cost raked in $1.9 billion. But that's going forward. Who's taking care of the people if they decide to go backwards? Who's there for their detransitioning? Nobody. So whether you agree that they did it or not, the insurance companies paid. And the people doing it took the money. Now that she's made this decision to detransition, nobody is there. How is that ethical? I ask each of you to think about that. Now, let me get to a question. Tell me about your hormone predicament. Because if you're not getting care, you've sought care, you're not getting care. What are you doing about hormone therapy?
After finally getting my doctor to get a blood test, which she ordered in the male range for some reason, but we finally got it straightened out and figured out that I'm just not producing my own hormones after years of testosterone abuse. And no, she won't prescribe it. She said, I know what you need, I know what dose you need, and I'm not willing to treat you like a guinea pig. So now I'm treating myself with herbs, trying.
Were you... Okay. And when you were getting hormones, you had to have blood tests frequently, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. Yet now that you're off, they've abandoned you.
Yes.
Were you told you would be in chronic pain? I understand you're in chronic pain. That's how you described it?
I was not warned anything about the chronic pain. I have joint pain and my body burns and my pain tolerance is lower.
Is that because you're detransitioning?
Yes, it is due to the testosterone abuse.
Prisha, can you tell me, why did you decide to detransition, if you don't mind? How'd you come to that decision? I think if you're willing to say that, we need to hear, because I don't know.
So I got into a type of trauma therapy called dialectical behavioral therapy, which helps with extreme emotions, emotional regulation, and black and white thinking. And all of the magic that was supposed to happen when I transitioned, like the healing and the euphoria, all happened through actually healing my trauma.
By actually what? I'm sorry?
Healing my trauma.
Oh, so that therapy helped you heal the trauma that you had as you started your testimony, you had prior to the surgery. So after you had surgery, you then found the right counseling that got to the root of the problem, so the arrow was shot at the right target, but after you transitioned.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prisha.
Senator Menendez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Mosley, thank you for coming today. In your testimony, you mentioned that you were suffering from quite a few things. You said depression. I forget, could you remind me the things that you were going through?
Anorexia and borderline personality disorder too.
So you were going through borderline personality disorder, anorexia, and depression. What age do you recall going through these things?
I got my medical records back and they predated it to the age of 12. It was like right onset with puberty.
Okay, right around 12. And so maybe that's why someone gave you a diagnosis. Do you recall who made the diagnosis or who told you that if you transitioned that things would get magically better?
Yes, it was my gender-affirming therapist that the trans community told me to find to get a letter of recommendation. That's the key you get that unlocks any hormone and surgery you want.
So we see how disappointed, how worried, how angry the senators there who were interrogating her are. We've seen it. They are shocked. And like she said, that when she was looking for funds to do or to have the procedure, her insurance was willing to pay the whole cost of her transitioning. But now that she is ready to go back, she wants them to help her go back to her natural state. They tell her the insurance does not cover. She cannot also raise the kind of money she needs to even have the transition back to becoming the female as she was born with, or as she was born as. If you heard her again, she said that her doctors told her that they are not willing to give her back her natural hormones so she can at least develop some of her feminine features. And if you heard, in the first video we shared, she said her breasts have all been cut off. She doesn't even have nipples anymore. So now it is almost as though she's stuck and she cannot come back. Now, she said that she was diagnosed of certain medical conditions, and one she mentioned as anorexia. What is anorexia? Anorexia is basically a psychological problem which would make you begin to lose weight, and it is caused by having excessive low self-esteem and feeling limited control in life. And so you begin to think, and it may lead you to depression. And if you have such a mental issue, does it warrant a transitioning from being a female to a male? But this was the deception that the medical people told her. They deceived her. This condition only requires, a treatment with, therapy. Let a person go through therapy and they'll be fine. Why deceive them that they need to transition to be able to be well or be treated? And she mentioned that she also had a condition called borderline personality disorder. What is that? Borderline personality disorder is simply another mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. These are things that doesn't warrant anybody suggesting to anybody that you need to have a transition from being a female to becoming a male so that you will be treated or to have treatment. But this was the lie that was told her by the doctors. How do you treat this kind of disorder? Borderline personality disorder is simply treated by psychotherapy. Just psychotherapy and the person will be fine. Psychotherapy and the person will be fine. But again, because they are so eager and they have an agenda to push people into this state of trance, they didn't waste time and they chose to deceive her instead. Now I want to tell us something. Look, there are some of us who see doctors, especially doctors in the West, as gods. That whatever a doctor from the West will tell them, they take it as a gospel or something that their lives depend on. They don't ask questions. Especially people who have migrated from Africa or to the West. They go to the hospitals, and because the doctor is from the West or the hospital is in the West, they have so much trust, so much confidence. They rely so much on these people that whatever they say, they think they are speaking wisdom. And so they want to go for it and go with it. If this lady had asked questions, if this lady had done a little research on her own, at least she may have had an idea of the deception that these people were telling her. I want to caution us again that we should be careful. So Jesus said, be careful what you hear. Be careful what you hear. Not all the things we hear are to be believed, or are we to believe. Not all the things we hear. Look, in Genesis chapter 3, verse number 4, Satan told Eve that if you eat, you will not die. But it was a deception. It was a lie. A doctor can say, take this drug. Oh, if I transition you, oh, if I inject you with this, nothing will happen to you. And then you are going to comply. You're going to fall for it and go with it and accept it. And then when the consequences begin to come, sometimes they will even let you sign an indemnity. And they will lock you up in that discomfort, in that pain. And they will leave you and they will be living their lives because of a certain hidden agenda they have that you don't know. Let's be careful. Colossians chapter 2, verse number 8. Bible says, see to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy. Let's be careful. Because people are around, they are on TV, they are in the media, they are in the news. They are telling us stories. But these stories are fabricated. These stories are not true, they are deceptions. Some of them are not true. We should be careful what we hear. We should be careful what people tell us. Even those that tell us things with the sweetest of tone, with the sweetest of words, and with the most pleasant of accent. Let's be careful. Let's be careful because this world and this society we are living in today, there's evil hovering around always. Let this story of this lady be a lesson to us that today as we are going to be going to the hospitals, we should be careful. Like I said the other day, and I played the video of America's former president Donald Trump, today even injections that are put in our bodies, in the bodies of our kids, of our babies, some of them are hormonal blockers. We should be careful. We don't know what people are going to be doing to us. What we eat, what we drink, what we're taking as medication. We should be careful. what we hear, we should be careful. Because the enemy is working extra time. The enemy is working overtime. And therefore, we cannot slack. We cannot be ignorant in times like this. God bless you, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.